drink the wine too, apparently.
Good. So, good evening, everyone. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rassus?
Here.
Mr. Viera?
I'm here.
Mrs. Wittes? Here. Mr. Dangler?
Here.
Dr. Vogt?
And I'm here. So we have
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act and posted as required by law.
Thank you, Amanda. Good. So we have actually two presentations tonight. Starting with the presentation on the 2024 annual audit. Robert Fisher.
There you go. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, who is our city auditor?
It's my annual appearance in front of you all. So each year when we finish the audit, we come just to give you a brief presentation about how the audit went and where things stand in the long range. As I've mentioned in the past, we're here to determine whether your financial statements are fairly stated, whether they're in compliance with the rules and regulations of the state of New Jersey. And so we do all our audit tests. We're looking at all your outside departments. We're looking at your purchasing, all your grants, and things like that. That you have to meet all these standards. And if we find problems, that could affect the opinion, or there could be comments or recommendations in the report. I'm happy to report that the opinion was a clean opinion, it's an unmodified opinion report, which is the best opinion you can get. We have no findings in the report this year. Remember last year there was one finding that was corrected, but we had no findings this year. The surplus for the town is always a big issue. We're almost exactly where we were last year. We're about $18,000 less than last year, which is a really small amount. So you're in really good shape. The rating agencies want you to be somewhere between 20 and 28% of your total budget surplus. You're at 25%. So you're in a real good spot of where you want to be. Again, I always mention every year, keep that in mind as you're developing your budgets every year. The council's done a good job in listening to the administration in developing those budgets. You're able to maintain that surplus. A lot of the towns get out there and they want to, look, let's reduce taxes, and we'll throw all our surplus at it, and you have reduced taxes for a year or two, then all of a sudden you're stuck. And you guys kind of get that and kind of stay with that. People, you get a reduction of taxes for a penny or two. It's nice, but it doesn't really mean. But when you raise them 4 or 5. Then it's like, wait a second now, where does this happen? So I encourage you to continue to do a good job with that at budget time. The other thing is, it's more of a suggestion. We've discussed it. When we finish our audit, we have an exit conference with the administration, kind of go over things. And one of the things that we brought up at that point in time is reviewing our capital ordinances. We pass ordinances every year, and we're going to do a road program, or we're going to buy a truck or something like that. You don't always spend all the money. Maybe the bid comes in lower or things like that. And the suggestion would be to try to review some of the older ones. We have about 10, 12, 13 that are older, as far back as I think 97. So maybe review those and cancel them. Okay, it's not required, but it's good to clean the books up, cancel those, and in general, if they're funded, they'll create capital surplus, which you can then use in the budget or to offset other smaller capital projects. So again, we encourage you to maybe take a look at that sometime during the year, this year. Mayor, how are you?
Good, sir. Good to see you.
Excellent. So that's really all I have to say at the meeting. Anybody have any questions or comments about the audit process or anything like that?
Can you just, so council has to pass a resolution tonight certifying that they've reviewed the audit, but at the very least they have reviewed the comments and recommendations. Were there any comments or recommendations?
No, there's no comments or recommendations. So there's nothing to review. I was telling Mike, I don't mention the client, but we had a client where we had somewhere between 20 and 25 comments in the report every year for 5 years straight. And so they finally, and at this, we were never invited to the meeting to discuss it. So finally I got invited to the meeting to discuss it. So I sat down and I went through all 25 of the comments. I said, and one person asks, well, how long have these been here? I'm like, most of them have been here for 5 years. And she goes, well, why am I just hearing about this now? I'm like, well, you kind of said you signed off, you read the recommendations for the last couple of years. And she says, I did? Like, yeah. So, but yeah, there's nothing to for anybody here to have to, we had one small recommendation last year that was corrected already, so everything's in real good shape here.
And what was that recommendation?
Last year, we had an over expenditure last year. It was the way things were budgeted, how it showed up in the run, but that was taken care of. There's no problems this year.
Well, thanks. It's
Very good.
So at some point, we should just, keep it kind of on the tickler file to hear from Mike when all those ordinances are cleaned up?
Yeah,
Yeah, at some point later here.
he'll come to you.
Okay,
I'll present a resolution.
okay, good.
Very
Okay.
good. Have a great night.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care.
Thanks.
Uh-huh. Okay, so, our next presentation, Charlie, it's looking like you're preparing to
Yeah.
do that.
Yes,
Mike
I am.
will not be here?
He's on his way.
Okay.
But I'll start it for you guys.
Okay.
So, as we did last year, as you guys can remember, this is the Monmouth County Open Space Grant. So one of the requirements is that we do it in public, just in case anyone, wants to ask questions or talk about it before we apply for the grant. So last year, as you know, we did the area between the library and City Hall, which we were funded for. This year, our choice is Vancourt Park. We have a lot of conversations with the Director of Recreation, and the basketball court in this area is by far the worst. There's actually, there's flowers and grass growing through the cracks in it. And in one area where underneath the basket, it's so dangerous that, they've had a bunch of people twist their ankles there. So it needs to be completely not just resurfaced, but replaced. So part of this grant would be to a full replacement of the basketball court, including the poles and the nets. And obviously, all of the trees and everything will be maintained around it. He did a few more trees just to buffer it a little bit better than what it is now, but all the existing will remain. He actually, as we move forward with this, one of the things that we told you guys that we would do is we would put water fill stations in as we do this, and instead of it being a normal water station, it'll be a bottle fill station. So there's one of them in there, and we're gonna, as we move forward to replace or add, we'll put them in all the parks. It's the biggest thing probably being asked for now. And then as we went through all the parks, some of this equipment that you buy, you don't realize how old it is, but as we went and looked at it and then called the company to find out, believe it or not, the park's over 25 years old. And we were astonished by it, but there was things that we wanted cleaned up about it. We had Stan's guys power wash it, try and scrub it, but it's put its time in. There's a bunch of steps that transition from the plastic to the metal that you can't replace them, they're rusted out. So basically it's gonna be a replacement of that entire area, including the rubber floor or the rubber layer beneath, which is required. Believe it or not, as we're looking at the park over on the Monmouth Medical property and went and did it. Kids aren't allowed to play in grass anymore. We have to do something.
Oh,
You
yeah?
can't- It's great.
It's not allowed to play in grass.
No, like in other words, like you can't have swing set under grass. You got to put something there. So all these playgrounds have to have some type of a surface. Grass just isn't good enough anymore. So, and it's funny because the surface is as much as the playground set itself. So it would be a full replacement. Again, the trees will stay. Some additional buffering is provided, and then we would fence in the area so we have a tot area and parents wouldn't have to worry about it.
And can I add, Charlie,
Please.
that playground is really heavily used,
Yeah.
as well as the basketball court.
Yeah.
Are you gonna put like picnic tables and things like that?
Yeah, that'll absolutely be part of it, in the middle where there's open space, and garbage containers, recycling containers, all of that is figured into it. Yeah.
Now, when you do these bottle filling stations, are they just gonna come out of a hose, or is this gonna be a?
No, there's a specific company, off the top of my head, I don't know, but it's a specific company, they're made for outdoor, they're stainless.
It's gonna be hard piped on?
Oh, hard piped, it's all hard
Okay,
piped, yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. They're made for parks and for outdoors.
Okay.
The ones that we've already selected for the boardwalk are a little bit more robust, as you know they must be.
Yeah.
But the parks ones are, made for
So when it's something like
parks.
that, do you have to shut the water?
We do, we have to
With
blow,
the
it's like a sprinkler, we're gonna have to blow it out
Blow
and
it out,
lean it.
okay.
Yeah.
Will it have like a little tray on the bottom for pets, when you walk pets?
I don't think we selected that one, but
Well, can we look into it?
we
No pets
we
allowed
can.
in the park, why
Yeah,
is
there's
it
gonna be
for
a pet
pets?
restriction
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
People walk their pets by there all the time.
Yeah, but there's no pets.
There's no
allowed
pets in the park, that's why we
How do
don't
do that?
attract them, because our ordinance says they're not allowed there.
We
We'll
had
look-
changed Jackson Woods because
Yeah.
of that, remember?
Yeah,
Because there were people who were going there for the dogs, and then we had the things the dog, hang the trash bags in there, it
Yeah.
says if they, why is there bags, they're not allowed dogs in the things, we had changed that.
and honestly, just nothing to do with dogs or anything else. we've selected the most robust one with the least amount of moving parts, cause every moving part you put in, it's something else to break, so. If the dog dish breaks and it keeps filling, then what does that mean? Now the whole thing is shut down to humans and pets, opposed to us having a single operation, single use button that if that breaks, we can fix it and move on.
Yeah, but I see a lot of those, a lot of places,
Yeah.
because people do walk their dogs. and
Sure.
Things like that.
Charles,
Yes, sir.
only correction comment I have is, said people are twisting their ankle under the
Yeah.
court.
Mhm.
That's because they're trying to stop me with Allen Iverson crossing. Has nothing to do with.
All right,
I'm
all right,
just
well,
telling-
yeah.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah. So Michael, I've gone through most of the presentation already.
Yes, my apologies,
Yeah.
I had the wrong time in my calendar.
No problem. Is there anything else you wanna add? I went through the site plan and everything. Is there anything else that's required that I have to?
No, really, did you touch on the cost?
I didn't do that's the only thing I didn't do. I was getting to that point. I wanted you to be the bad guy. I have it here.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, why don't you come here and sit right at the end?
Yep. So the
Does
overall.
everybody know who Michael is?
No.
Oh, sorry.
I apologize. Hi, I'm Michael Reiser with CME Associates. I work with Laura Newman. She apologizes that she could not make it tonight. She had prior commitments, so she sent me, but unfortunately put the wrong time on the calendar. But yeah, the overall cost for this project is $756,200. The Monmouth County Open Space Grant is limited to $500,000 per project. But since the city is a designated urban aid community, the county will fund up to 75% of the eligible project costs. So, yeah.
So what's we gonna plus
Yeah, so
the
what does that
600
leave
over
us?
100?
Yeah.
So that leaves us, the county would be, assuming we get a maximum award, we would get 500,000, and then the city would be funding the remaining 256,000.
It's 381. Our portion would be the 25% plus that, right? 381?
381.
Right? It's the 25% of the 500 plus the overage.
Yeah, yeah.
So 381 would be our portion. Okay. We can have that conversation when we get there.
What's been our history with this? Have we always gotten this grant, like our chances?
We've done
of
very
getting-
well. We've done well, yeah.
So it looks good that we're gonna get it again.
You go.
I mean, yeah, chances are.
Chances are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe we applied for the City Hall improvements last year and obtained a grant for that, as well as the Manhasset Creek and Pleasure Bay Park improvements.
Okay.
That's successful.
I know for us it's not a thing, but I think a lot of these grants, they look at not only the ability to get them, but to finish them. And we
Yeah.
always finish them.
That's what I was thinking, our
It's-
record of
yes,
having a good.
that's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't always happen.
Well, when we first started, we had a lot of unfinished projects.
Yes. Yeah.
To get them back, that's what the
Yep.
whole goal was.
Good. So, you guys have any questions?
It's gonna
No,
be
we're good,
nice.
thank you.
That's very nice.
When will this be done?
Done, I don't know, when the grant gets submitted next week, and then, when are they awarding, do you know?
I believe October is when they announced
For
it.
the next year.
Yep, so we'll
Yes.
know. So by the time October happens, then, Mike's it'll be one of those, where in the budget is, are we waiting for the budget? You're doing the chapter 159, where capital is at the time, so I'd say you're a good year away.
Okay.
Yep,
Good. Thank you, Charlie, thank you, Mike.
cool.
Charlie, just when I walked in, there was a
Yeah.
comment just about, like a tripping hazard or something?
We were talking about the existing court.
Existing court, okay, yeah, we'll take care of
There's
that.
stuff in it, yeah, yep.
Yep.
There's also a comment about having water for the dogs too.
Having water for the dogs, okay, we do have in there like a drinking fountain, and I do know that they make ones that are both, where you have the human portion as well as the dog one, we've installed those, so that's,
Thank you.
something we can definitely include.
Not to miss an opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Good?
Good.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, Mike, thank you, Charlie, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, for, the council, any old business?
No, I'm good.
Nope.
Nope. I'm gonna put this in the category of old business just because I don't know where else to put it, but just tremendous kudos to our police force and everybody who made July 4th just, so safe and amazing. I don't know if the rest of the council, I mean, I got a lot of comments of people
yeah.
just feeling good that they saw the
Outstanding.
police out there. And to control the traffic the way these guys did, you did an outstanding job, so.
Thank you.
There you go. Any, new business?
Nope.
Review the regular meeting agenda, any comments?
No comments, I'm good.
No comments.
Okay, there we go. I need a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're gonna go into executive council, so I need a motion to adopt the following resolution, resolution number R-129-25. Be it resolved that the city council will go into executive executive session to discuss the following: attorney-client privilege, administrator's update, Administrator Shirley.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, good, thank you.